Good morning from Hawaii, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. I'm John Burgos, and today we're hosting the amazing Tracy Clark talking to us about rewriting your destiny, aligning with purpose, power, and prosperity. And Tracy gives it to us straight, but she gives us the how-to as well along the way. So she's just a library of depending where we are and what's coming up, but also what is available in the field for all of us collectively, how we're stepping in and expanding and taking advantage of this opportunity so that we can really thrive and prosper and enjoy this amazing life in so many different ways. I got on with Tracy earlier, and just the vibrancy, the vitality that's coming from her is extraordinary. So I think I dressed appropriately with this bright color today, because it seems to be in line what we're going to receive on today's call. Um, Tracy, I could get into reading your bio, but I just want to welcome you, and I'd love it if you tell everybody what the core of the work that you do with your community is, and what your passion is as far as teaching other people and helping them to align to what's really available for them.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me
Mhm.
here today. It's always such a treat. And yeah, you know what? I always say that authentic living, we hear it, but it's really, like you said, I kind of say the no BS work that we're doing in the world because it isn't about just the fluff that's been out there for so long. You've had a journey, I've had a journey. And when we come through those roads and you realize that everybody in our life had an assignment for something for our growth, and we start to find that peace. And I get so excited when I hear someone say, "Oh my gosh, I had that shift and I had that breakthrough and I've been waiting for, A, B, or C to happen, like something in their health shifts or something in their wealth shifts or something in their, relationship and personal space where they're like, none of that stuff bothers me anymore." And they're okay to speak up. And when I wake up in the morning, I realize because that I was that person that was like so many people just checking out and dying in near death experience and saying, I don't want to be here anymore. And I just looked at the world as just empty. And when I realized that there was so much more, and I see this now with so many people every day where they're like, that one shift or that one saying that we said changed them so drastically because it's a ripple effect, right? Because when that one person, when I know they've made that shift, their family's shifting, their friends are shifting, their work is shifting, and life is meant to be harmonious and glorious, but it's so easy to get bogged down into the world out there that is, it's been fed for different reasons. It's our way of getting out of it and learning and that fear. But when they come in and they step in and say, wow, I have a lot more power than I ever thought I had. And they start to use it and own it. And the people pleasing stops and they're living according to their rules, but with kindness and with grace and with ease, because that's how life's supposed to be. And
Mhm.
I know for me at 54, if someone told me that like 20 some years ago when I first woke up, I would have said they were full of garbage. However, now coming through it, I'm like, it's so true. You just want everyone to know how wonderful it is and how excited it is for us to be here right now.
Mhm.
We're so also part of this change.
It's an amazing opportunity, and we're teaching each other and we're showing each other, and it's the embodiments and the example of what's possible that's really activating so many along the way. One thing that I love that you bring in, and again, it's so grounded, it's so expanded at the same time, is that we can stop waiting for clarity and we can actually start moving with divine certainty. And I'd love it if you would drop in some truth bombs about that and what your experiences have been with that.
Yeah, it's well, and I say it's that inner knowing, right? We all have the inner knowing, but it's a feeling. And when you go back and you say, I should have listened to my intuition, it's actually deeper than that right now. And
Mm,
it's getting stronger. And it's when I know when I had this moment, and if it can maybe help to inspire someone when I would listen to my family or the authoritative bodies or trying to find my way. And I had this moment. I say God, some people may say universe or divine, whatever
mm,
works. And I was like, wow, I need to ask questions. I need to learn from people for sure. But when I would stop going with my inner feeling, life kind of went sideways. So when
Hmm.
I would take the information, I would take the knowledge, and I would like say, okay, truthfully, like, thank you, God, what is this person's assignment in my life? Or what is my assignment? Like, show me that truth around that. Things really started to change. And then things started to get even more grounded. And all of a sudden, what I noticed was they were moving quicker and quicker because I became, and I see this with my clients, they become way less consumed about what's outside of themselves. They're going with what's inside, and things become effortless. And I know a lot of people say that, but that is how we're supposed to live. And I know from experience because I used to make everything hard.
What is it that you teach them that allows them to really land that shift? Because we can glimpse it, we can talk about it, we can say that
Yes.
that's like the magic formula to do it. But then we'll do it for a little bit and then we'll get back into the repetitive, known, comfortable.
Yes. Yeah, a few things I like to start people at when if they're used to falling off the wagon is one, I like to start and say, okay, every day you're going to say, thank you, God, universe, fine. What is the truth about this person's assignment with me? Or what is the truth about my assignment? Start talking because your words are so powerful.
Mhm.
And then take a moment. Now, I'm really big at tapping on the heart. I know when people rub it, I've always, for decades, it's tap, right? Because that's our connection up into spirit. And then I make sure, and I say to people, make sure that before you go to bed and before you wake up in the morning, start with the simple tools where whether you're saying, thank you, God, or thank you, universe, thank you, divine, what are some of the things that you really want to see unfold in your life? Like, thank you. Maybe it's you landed that job. I always say, go to the things that are heart space first. Like, thank you. Thank you, God. My connection is strong and clear. Not think you got to have a strong, or maybe one day, thank you, God, or thank you, universe, my connection is strong and clear. And start to do that before you go to sleep and do that when you wake up. But when you're walking in your day, first start with show me the truth about this, show me the truth about that. Start just asking there. Then I get more in depth with people with their body and what their body's actually telling them. And so they can feel it and they can feel what their heart drive is really sharing. And not what do you think? It's what do you feel, right? And it's when you're tapping and saying, like, truthfully, what do I feel? You can bring that energy through down into the heart drive because that hard drive has so much information that actually it needs to be dumped. It's like cash, it needs to go. And when people start to learn more about what their body is telling them, that's how I restored my own body after being told I should be gone by now. It was by looking, what is my body telling me why? And how is my body reacting in different environments? How is my body reacting around different people? Didn't mean that people were bad or good, or we got to stop labeling them. And then
Mhm.
what is that assignment in my life? What do I need to learn from that? And then how do I start to remove it out of my system? And that's where a lot of times I go, I still use it. I did it the other day. I was like on a plane. I'm like, okay, thank you, God. Reset, let go, pull that energy out of the body. It was a little stifling. I'm like, pull it. And all of a sudden the body just calmed down. So when your body's calm, then you can focus better. And nowadays people are so busy. We like to have quiet time, but people don't realistically. I teach a lot of tools because they don't realistically have time to sit there and meditate for an hour or 2 hours. If you're in a board meeting, you need an answer now. You need to know, how do you calm your energy now? How are you aligning it now? And by doing that, I found it made a really big shift. And it started to, and I see this with people who are like, wow. Or they'll go like this, and I teach them how to just move their hand to, it's like, strengthen and adjust somebody's energy to them. And they'll be in a meeting. They're like, oh my gosh, Chase, I just moved my hand and I said what you did. They'll go like, okay, correct, to strengthen that person's energy to me, strengthen their energy. And they're moving their hand like this. And they go, all of a sudden they're like, oh, did you need my attention? Or like it went so much smoother than what they
Mhm.
expected. So tools where you can walk around the street and just get done what you need to do. Yeah.
And they're practical tools. So what is this? What is this that you taught to your one client?
Yeah. So this is what this is. So I say when you're in, so this being your midline, right? Everybody knows your midline. You have a light switch here. Basically, you can increase somebody's energy and you can pull someone's energy down. but you're not going to go up to them and go, okay, let me increase your energy and pull it down. But if you're sitting there, even if you're like, okay, you can actually see that line come from here to them where you're actually increasing their energy. You're strengthening what they need,
Mm.
or you're pulling down what needs to maybe be brought down a tempo. So if they picture it like a light switch, they're turning something on for them or they're turning something off. And so when they use it, I've seen people, they tell me they'll go into coffee shops, they'll hear something, and I say to them, just take your hand and just like, nope, not taking that in. And you can put it by your leg, right? Nope, not taking that in. And they're all of a sudden they're like, wow, right away my body went calm. And they just move their hand gently by their lap. Nobody knows what they're doing, not taking it in. And they're just like, oh, I got really calm when they were anxious when they walked into,
Mm.
this place they were. So that was really cool too. Yeah.
Is there an intentionality that allows that to really be effective? Because it just can't be used to manipulate other people to get what you
No.
want so you can feel more
Oh,
comfortable.
no, no, no. It's not manipulation at all. Yeah, no, no,
Right.
no, no.
Yeah.
But it's always when we're teaching, it's always in the highest and best interest of everyone. So it's
Nice.
calming things down. It's allowing things in your body to be calm. You're not doing weird witchcraft or anything like that. No, no, we stay away from that, please. But sometimes people can confuse that because
Right.
you're not adjusting the energy in a sense to be in a negative space. You're making sure it's in alignment to always highest and best interests of everyone. And that
Hmm.
allows them to listen better. It's like I said to someone the other day, they didn't know how to respond to this conversation. I said, your words. So I showed them and said, even if you pull your body back and say, I understand a little bit about what you're saying, but tell me what I'm missing. What am I missing here? And
Mm.
they came back and they said it was the first time that they actually were able to engage in a very positive conversation where that person's body was always kind of like this. And now they were both relaxed and they were having a good conversation and they got to the results quicker than they thought before. So they're creating these shifts by understanding what to say, understanding the body. And then also when we start to rewire and get real with who we are, and it's not authenticity isn't fluff, right? It's
Hmm.
real. It's looking in the mirror going, oh God, I do that and I got to stop. And, understanding everybody has a journey, but how do we unlock wherever our trauma is or however that went, and not beat yourself up because it maybe didn't happen on a timeline either.
Hmm.
Because
Right.
something like I had something the other day that popped up from when I was a kid, and it was just sort of like, but now you get to the point where like, oh, I know where that is. Okay, I'm going to just collapse that energy. I see where it is. It's going to happen our whole lives because we're always learning and
Right.
growing.
So how do we clear, and I really appreciate that you break it down in these three. How do we clear the generational, the karmic, and the emotional baggage so that we're really like complete with it?
Yeah, when generational, I find there's a few things that come up. So you can have generational issues, which I know I had with my mom, my grandmother, my great grandmother. I had a lot of those. You can also have, which I also had in our line, were generational curses. So we had a curse within the line, for example, where all the women had been violated. All the women in this certain line had
Mm.
strong violations. But we also had in the line where there was health issues that also came through. So I was the lucky one that picked it up from my mom, my grandmother, and my great grandmother. So there was,
Wow.
yeah. So you start to learn, and what I do is now it's a lot quicker than it used to be. So I actually see, and Spirit showed me recently, it moves quite quickly. If people can start to see timelines, so I'll say when I'm working with someone working in groups, it's like, okay, we have a past life timeline, we have the ancestral timeline. You might have a curse timeline. If you know it, if it's not, you're just your past life, your ancestral, right? Your karmic, maybe you're religious, but they all go like this. And then you ask to see in the timeline, they're like bubbles that come up and you see where those energies are. So for me, if I was looking at somebody with a health timeline, it would be where did that generational health timeline, was it a curse, was it an ancestral religion? I go through the timelines, but all people need to do, thank you guys, I always say thank you God because I say thank the universe, say universe divine, but I'll be like, okay, thank you spirit. I'll bring up the accumulation of timelines, so I bring it up like this, but I see them like where they come up like this.
Hmm.
And then I actually collapse them and I pull them forward. So what you can do is, if you know, if it's for me, so for an example, um cervical cancer was in our family, right? There was one. And there was a lot of other ones we had. But when I started to pull that up, I pulled the timeline up. I asked, thank you, God, to bring up that timeline. So I see it where it is here. I could see where my mom was, my grandmother, my great grandmother, and it went on for a long time. And I asked for the health timeline to come through. And then I bring it and I literally collapse it like this. People say that's kind of weird. And I'm like, no, but we collapse it like this. And I reset it out of the body. So I ask people to go and retap the heart to reset it out of the body. And then I just command this way to override, to speak in the higher vibration. And then you can, so when the vibrations, right, when they meet, then everything else just collapses, right? So we bring this vibration up and we collapse it out. So
Mm.
it's when we're rewiring, there's multiple ways we can rewire. Some people say, oh, okay, we can just ask the body to rewire, but we got to pinpoint what's that issue that's being stuck in the body before it's going to
Mm.
want to plug. And you can also unplug a lot like this. You can unplug from where those timelines are and plug back up into the collective and back up to spirit. So there's the collective you unplug. So I always say it's like if you have this little, I don't know if you've done that one, but I say it's like a cord if you have it in your heart. I've got a headphone here, but if this was plugged in and this was your collective and it was plugging into everybody else that was sick, that will also affect your body. So you would pull that one out and you're plugging back up into the God consciousness to
Mm.
allow and pull that energy back through into your body. And sometimes I have people that do that just all day long. They're like, oh, I plugged into that. That's not me. I've got to plug back in. But by visually doing it this way, they strengthen the pathway a lot stronger.
Mm, that makes sense. That
Mhm.
makes sense. Wow. And again, you're speaking from experience. You went from being severely ill on your deathbed, literally,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
into look at the vitality that's running through you now. Yeah.
Yeah, and not even, yeah, and told many times that, nothing we can do for you, and been to the other side. And so, it is, I was definitely the one that wanted to go. And so, but it was really taking time. And with this work, this is what it's a way we live. And that and
Mhm.
that it's a way we live. We learn more, we integrate more. Somebody might take a tool from you, a tool from me, and they might integrate to something else and combine them, right? You never know. And then all of a sudden they're like, that worked. So we're always learning and evolving, and there's no right way or wrong way. I always say, I might say something, we'll take it and mold it the way that works and feels good for
Mhm.
you. And then I always say toolbox, like I create toolboxes, and then it's like a toolbox. You don't use a hammer every day. You don't use a wrench every day. So you may not meditate every day. And you may not go for your walk every day, but you may have a saying you use on a regular basis. And then you're going to have a different tool you may use. And then you're going to use a different tool, depending on what you let go of and how you evolve. Yeah.
And you have a lot of tools that you give to the people that you work with.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And we'll get into that in the special offer in a little bit because it's quite extraordinary what's there. And
We have a
um,
toolbox. Yeah.
it's
We
it,
have a
it's
toolbox. People are like, man, your toolboxes are huge. Yeah.
your toolboxes are awesome and they're effective and it's like we can
Yeah.
apply them and it, you see
Yeah.
the results when you tighten the screw that it's tight. It's like you don't have to like wait for some etheric confirmation, 6 months later. It's just it's
Yeah.
almost instantaneous.
It is. And now we're getting to a space where things are more instantaneous. There's a place now where people believe that, well, there's a lot of distortion energy going around for a reason. And I
Hmm.
say to people, be very mindful that that's just a distraction, because we're in the biggest, and this is the biggest manifesting time right now. So we
Hmm.
want to stay. We will. I cannot tell you how many people have told me lately, like, oh my gosh, Tracy, I am creating my reality so quickly. I'm scared of what I'm saying. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but be very, very, very aware of where your thoughts and feelings are. And I always say, bitterness of the tongue. Watch what's coming out of your tongue, because the
Mm,
creation is very quickly right now. It's happening. Yeah.
I agree. So let's get into, and I know we've been talking about it.
Yeah.
But this topic of rewriting our destiny, if our destiny is
Yeah.
our destiny, then what authority do we have to rewrite something that's already been prescribed?
Yeah. I used to think that our destiny was, set out. But the reason I'm such an advocate of this is if I believed that, then I would never have been able to change anything.
Mhm.
And when I started to see our blueprints and we all come in with a contract, soul agreements, all that, we have that. However, what I started to see over time is there's a lot of lines that go like this. Well, if you want to choose this, then you can come over and have this. And if you want to choose over here. So, although there are certain things we're destined to do, yes, there are so many things that we can expand and do even greater than that. And
Mhm.
I also learned that if you watching this and what spirit showed, and I've seen it a lot, is you may say, okay, this is part of my destiny, but then you evolve to a certain level, or all of a sudden now you can bring in a whole bunch of new things. So, yes, you can rewrite and you can override things. You are in charge of you. It's like so many people say, well, I'm just destined to that. And I'm like, well, not really. You can change it. And as long as you are being in alignment and you're being very clear about what you want. And I could have taken all of that information from people and said, okay, my destiny is to be dead at 50. Well, I'm 54. Okay, I didn't take that. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not taking that in. I'm going to
Uh-huh.
find something else. But I got, 20, it's been over 2 decades. And it's like, okay, I'm going to be in charge of my life. I'm going to be in charge of what I take in. And this is what I say to people when you learn that you're in charge, like that simple tool I teach, not taking that in. I had a lady say it today. She said, she was funny. She's like, I remember that tool you said to me. Someone said, and it was pretty negative, and right away she said in her head, she let them do their thing. She's like, I am not taking that in. I'm not having it. And
Mm.
she goes, I put my hand up to the side, but I said, it's a symbol to the universe that, yeah, that can drop over there. So we're so in charge of what we want. And it is easy to rewrite it when you start to understand it. But it's like writing a book. You're going to have some moments where you're going to feel like you're going backwards because if your family's resistant to you growing, or your friends are like, come back here. You were the drunk, fun party person. Come on. And then you're like, no. And so they'll be tested and you might fall off, the wagon, and that's okay. And then you get back up again. But yeah, we as individuals, that's what's so beautiful about our souls and how we evolve is we get to determine really
Mhm.
how our life is going to unfold.
Yeah. I love that you bring that in. I also had the experience,
Yeah.
and from the experience, the awareness, and this came in. It happened several times. The first time probably happened about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And again, the dam had been cracked open. I was connecting to something which I hadn't before in this particular way, and it was integrating in my body.
Yeah.
And I had a spontaneous moment where it's the middle of the afternoon and I had to go lie horizontally as soon as possible. If not, I was going to pass out where I was. And
Wow.
the second I found the couch to throw myself on, I started going through the spin and I had what some people would describe of having a life review
Mm.
happen just immediately when I close my eyes. It's like this scene of just filmed. Probably
Yeah.
didn't take longer than 40 seconds, probably less than that. And I woke back up and I felt that I had finished with one part and something else was coming in. And I had four other of those experiences over the last 20 years. And what I've come to realize, and I think we know this, but it's great to bring it in and it goes hand in hand with
Yeah.
rewriting our destiny, is
Yeah.
that in other lifetimes, perhaps we came in, we had the one physical body, we went through a certain set of experiences and we were done. And so it's a very linear type of experience.
Yeah.
In this particular lifetime, we're in the age that we're in because things are leveling up so fast and we're evolving so quickly that we're actually spiraling up and having several opportunities to have those
Mm.
experiences without having to reincarnate and go through
Yes.
those timelines.
Yeah, and what's so beautiful about that, and I think it's not talked about enough right now, is because
Mhm.
we are like, I said to somebody this morning, and I said to a group yesterday, if you're feeling tired or you're feeling like you want to go inside, no, you want to go outside, like literally you go outside, no, I got to go back inside, or
That's
food
me right
just
now. Yeah.
right. And
Mm,
you're like,
yeah.
I don't know if I want to be in, out, do I want to sleep? Food tastes really weird right now. Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
many people, because we're all evolving, are all going, I feel that too, right? And because yeah, our cells and our structures, and what I found, and I'd love your point of view on this too, is that you, like you said, so many evolvements in one lifetime, but because never in history, well, in we have, but it's been thousands of years,
Hmm.
we are now finally changing the paradigm of what we've been living in for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So to do that, right, we have to level up, and we've chosen, we like, think about how incredible it is that everybody on this call, I get chills saying this, we've chosen to be here during this time to keep incarnating while we're still here, and not having, like you said, the one lifetime where we just, had some babies, got married, did whatever, and then checked out, right? Like, we've chosen to experience supernatural things. We've chosen to lead the way. We're in 100 years from now, and Spirit showed me this so much.
Mm,
100 years from now, these people are gonna look back and go, wow, thank you to all
mhm,
those souls that were brave enough. Because this is a transition, right? And you get it. It's not like it was. This is where we get to be so many versions of ourselves. And that's why we can now rewire ourselves, and we can reprogram ourselves,
mhm,
and just have this higher way of living, which it's more peaceful for everyone on the planet. Like, imagine heading into the world we will, that we are starting
mm,
now, where poverty won't exist, where lack won't exist, where illness will be like gone, because it's going to be just zoop, off you go, and we'll be able to move it like this. Like, we are right now together as a collective, putting that energy and imprinting, and it's why we're shifting so quickly. It's
mhm.
really miraculous. I think I get so excited about it.
Oh, it's amazing. And for anybody on the call listening to the replay, whenever you happen to, if you are here in this lifetime and you're wondering, and you're like, well, I want to be of service, I don't know how to do it, just know that by you being here, your
Yeah.
existence, you signed up to be of service in a way that you cannot even begin to imagine. Because the ripple effects of you being here now and the future generations
Yeah.
are changing what's possible in the
Mhm.
highest outcome for those that come after us.
Yeah, I've seen so many images of people, and that's why I say, like, 100 years on, they're like, those were such brave souls. And
Hmm.
the purpose of just all of us coming together and being able to go, okay, and it's okay to fall down and get back up, but we're setting the new foundation, which is that foundation. I've been speaking about it for over 5 years now, is 2025, right? We're
Mm,
resetting a foundation. We're still cleaning it out. Now
yeah.
we got to build it, and all the wisdom that's been here before, and the wisdom from the other planets and the universes, and it's going to start to take hold again on Earth. And there's nothing better than, you look around and you're like, it doesn't have to be like this, because we're going to somewhere else. And a lot of people, when I talk to them, they're ready to change their destinies and change who they are. There's a fear, because they say, well, wait a minute, how can I interact with what's out there now and step into who I want to be? And I'm like, but yes, because when you start to let those layers go, you're helping to create the shift for
Hmm.
everybody. Like you said, that ripple in the world, it just amplifies. It's really exciting.
It has to. We need to start moving forward. And again, it's the first thing that we talked about on the call today. How do we stop waiting for the clarity and move forward with certainty? And we're creating that. And the momentum begins with us.
Yeah, and getting that, and even going back, I don't know who came up with this saying. You might know. I know it's so old, but sometimes I say to people, go back to something really old, like, thank you God, everything works out in my highest and best interest. If that's all you can say right now, like, everything works out in my favor. Everything works out in my favor. And then if that's where someone's starting, then learn the tools, start to everything. You have incredible teachers and people on here that are, and find what resonates. Like, everybody's going to resonate at a different level with a different experience. But know that if you're in that space and you're showing up, and you're just going, okay, I'm doing this and I'm doing it. And don't, if I can give one thing that if I went back, I'd say to my little younger self is, as I, started to see things shift and changes, don't get frustrated if something hasn't happened overnight. Because
Mhm.
the more the layers come off, the quicker things will happen overnight, where you'll be like, oh my gosh. And because the energy now, what took longer to support us 20 years ago is happening very quickly now,
Yeah,
very quickly. So
without question.
yeah. So don't even look and say, oh, this person's like some people say to me, well, you said it took you 5 years for that. And I said, that was 20 years ago. So yes, it
Mhm.
did. But now that can take you literally a matter of days if you're staying
Right.
connected, or even seconds. Yeah.
Right. What's also happening, y'all, again, as many have walked forward carrying that awareness, carrying that frequency, that vibrational level, it's easier for us to attune. It's like we're finding the signal on the dial a lot more quickly because there's more antennas
Yes.
that are
Yes.
populating our
Yeah.
vicinity, which is exciting.
Yeah. There's a lot more. I've also noticed there's a lot of new energies that have come forward to support all of us
Mhm.
that we haven't really had that ability before, but it's because our bodies are also upgrading to receive them. And people have to understand that as well, too. Like if somebody said, I've had somebody say to me, a lot of people say, well, I just want to levitate. And I said, okay, yeah, we can levitate as humans, but there is a process of where you will be able to like levitate or walk through walls when they really want to get into that other space. I said, people have done it. However, there's also a process to understand that there's a safety with that, with everybody. Because if you
Mm,
start doing that right away tomorrow and you just started going out and you're all of a sudden levitating over the ocean, you might have some really strange stuff go on and you might disappear for a while. But I said, there's a process with humanity where we also have to help each other keep coming up, and
I
that's
agree.
where we are right now. Yeah.
Well, even with the magic and
Mhm.
the science of levitation, if you will,
Yeah.
as a humanity, we really have to pause and ask why.
Yeah.
Why do I want to levitate? What is it?
Yes.
Is it ego based so I can do something so God
Yeah.
can prove something to me or something? Because
Yeah.
that's going to fall short for you. But if you're
100%.
wise, because I want to teach, because I want to be an example of what is possible through divinity through me, and I want to become the embodiment of that.
Yeah.
Well, that path will become clear for you to do that. Whether it takes one
Yeah.
day or the rest of your lifetime, I don't know. But again, the intention is so clear, and we do have to check in. Is this coming from ego
Yeah.
to prove something that I need something proven to you with a severe expectation that doesn't serve the
Yeah.
expansion of what's in the highest in love? Um, it's going to be
Yeah.
short-lived.
And it's also, years ago I made this agreement that my connection to I made an agreement with myself, a pact with myself. I was doing the work and I'm like, okay, I did my little thing that my connection to the God of my understanding was number one, always number one. And that is sacred. And I always say that's sacred to you, me, who everybody, that's your sacred
Yeah.
connection, whatever you call it, however you call it. But it's such a beautiful connection, like, with love and peace and authenticity and being able to say, this is who I am. And when we're on this path, we just want to be peaceful. It's not about winning anything. It's about
Mhm.
you be peace and at peace no matter what is going on. And can you come up here? And this is where I see a lot of people where you can observe in peace of what's here without the judgment as you see things moving and shifting. Yeah.
Amazing what you're coming through. Tracy, I want to open up the line for Q&A. So if y'all have questions, raise your
Sure.
hand, type them into the chat box. And as we're preparing for Q&A,
Sure.
um, and y'all are formulating maybe questions a little more carefully or more in
Yeah.
what you really want to ask, let's go through the special offer because you've giving a master class here about rewriting destiny,
Yeah.
aligning
Yeah.
with purpose, power, and prosperity. And y'all click on the special offer link. It's underneath the video where you're watching the call. Um, I think April just popped it in the chat box as well. And
Yeah.
you can always access the special offers on beyondtheordinaryshow.com
Yeah.
/marketplace. Um, but Tracy, guide us through this rewriting our destiny. This sounds amazing.
Yeah, and so there are audio clearings, but also video teachings and
Mm,
lessons and activations you can walk away from. So when if you look at the first one, which was, I'm gonna pull it up here, was Erase a False Self. This one actually, so I channel, these are all channeled through. I don't sit there and script anything. And so when
Mm,
I do any of my work, there's, and like most of us, there's nothing. It's just, this is what comes out. So I ask what is coming out for, what do people need to know? I have my space and we go through, and that's where I start to move from. The biggest thing that you'll see in this package, and it's in here, is looking at the distortion energies. And
mm,
what I've noticed is having to clear not only our ancestral karmic patterns, which we see in our, when we have our full self, which is when we've had trauma, we create distortion energy. So they start to look like, and I see them in different levels with people where, you know, the Coke bottle glasses that kids used to wear when we were young, we called them
oh
Coke
yeah.
glasses. And they don't have them anymore, I don't think, for children, which is really good. But they were
Mm,
very thick. I had a friend who had them, and he'd always say, "My Coke bottle glasses." But with it, they would, things would become very distorted if you or I put them on, right? Clear for them, but distorted. So by moving this distorted energy, that's also what keeps us in the falsehood of who we are. So there's a clearing and meditation and activation for that one. And
mm,
then we did a rewire your energy field for power and purpose, which I actually really enjoy this because I always say, please don't drive while you do these. I've had people
mm,
have accidents. You probably said that before, but going through the body, and you'll hear me talk a lot about pulling things out of the body, lifting energies out of the body that are no longer serving you. So I do ask that when people are listening that they stay very still and in an environment. Ideally, it's best if you have noise canceling headsets on. And then we did the activate your prosperity frequency. This is because right now I've changed the clearings and activations because we are heading into a whole new way of how we interact with our money and our finances and our systems. And you probably know we're in a big financial transition right now. And that will become easier for people in the long run of how we actually move through and
mm.
work with finances, and not only just our money, but the prosperity of life. And when I look at prosperity, it's your health, your wealth, your finances, your love relationships. So they all go hand in hand, which is quite neat because we have to rewire out of, right now we have to rewire. It's really important out of how we used to show up for work, how we treated physical ailments, how people interact with their money. Like it's not going to be the same. And in the next 5 years, it's going to be very, very different.
Yeah.
So,
Tracy, let me ask you,
mm,
in here you talk about that you're activating your divine prosperity codes and all these, but you're also saying that you're using your signature command-based technique. What is that?
yeah. Well, a lot of times you'll hear me say, and I use my hands a lot when I talk and my voice. So I'll be like, I command, and then I'll say a saying that I'll see into it. So a lot of times,
Mm,
like, okay, thank you. We're going to command this, and then there'll be a part in the body where we're going to actually command that frequency to resonate, to go through. And so if I'm commanding into the liver or into the hard drive, then people will say, oh, my lip, they can feel their organs start to vibrate. They'll tell me that a lot. So I always go in and I'll speak, but that's on a base. You'll hear me say it like I command, but it's commanding to speak to the higher frequencies. They like to be, it's not like, oh, okay, could you do this for me? No, it's like we're commanding
it's
this.
clarity. It's clarity.
Clear.
Clear,
Yeah,
clear,
it's
just
very clear.
straight.
Yeah. So
Nice.
it's very, very clear. So I'm like, and all when I channel them through, it's exactly like I'm watching a channel and I'm hearing the channel, right? And then it's just going through. So it's I see, feel, hear when it comes through. And then that's where if you hear me start to say I'm commanding it through into the body. But when I work and I go like this, I also see where the energy's going from, and it's not me, it's spirit. We all have it, everybody has it, but I can see where that energy is going. Or sometimes, a lot of times, if it's like a, like a twine, like they're just showing me like a ball of yarn your grandma would use, and it's all twisted, how we have to untwist it and pull it out so the energy can become clean.
Mm,
Yeah. So that one is, I'm actually really quite, I like them. And then, yeah. And then we have a lot of, like I said, video teachings, which I'll take you through on how a lot of tools that people can use, things that you can use right now. How we have the one to dissolve your old narratives, where that trauma is, so you can go back and do the exercises. You can go back and relearn and learn. So it is school. It's school. I always say we're here on Earth School, so we're learning. And how to, in each of the video teachings, you will find that the more you actually listen to them and start to apply it, that so don't just listen to it once, listen to it, go apply it in your world, come back and listen to it again, because it's going to shift for you.
Mm.
And you're going to take something new from it, because this is going to start to move. So I teach you how to get rid of the pain, things that I've learned. Just I was my own test experiment. So how I learned to rewrite who I was, to let go of your old traumatic self, to allow you to fully bring in and rebuild your connection to the God of your understanding, because that is number one. And
Mm.
without that connection, we can do all sorts of things. But if you don't trust nor believe in a higher power working with you, and this is where a lot of this package is really centered, and it's whatever resonates with you. There's no right or wrong. But
Mhm.
without that, we're going to be flying in the wind, because you need that. And that's where a lot of these teachings go, to really ground you into your connection, how it is for the person that's listening to it, because that's how you're going to get shifts with not wavering, because you cannot waver in what you're doing. You have to come with conviction and strength.
Mm.
And that's what you'll find in the teachings, is why there's conviction and strength, how to remove your distorted energy, how to remove the debris out of your life. And we do the exercises together.
It's pretty powerful. So again, we've got the four command-based audio clearings.
Yep.
Again, rewiring your energy field for power and purpose,
Mm-hmm.
activating your prosperity frequency. We have dissolving the blocks, stepping into your divine self. And then we go into this five soul line, the video teachings about rewiring your story that's been holding you back.
Yeah.
Um, Source to resource, awaken your God frequency, unlocking your divine blueprint, gratitude to alignment, remove distorted energies blocking your path, and rewriting your destiny. Again, aligning what you bring that all back in
Yeah.
into what else is possible, into what you're
And
ready to break into.
being able to take those tools out with you and use them every day. And everything that when I'm always downloading and channeling, I always say to people, it mixes with anything else that you're doing. All of the things that we learn, don't be afraid to mix them, and don't be afraid to shift it how you work. It might be a word you need to change. That's okay. That is okay. You'll get that shift. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 12 years of BTO, and not to mention all the guides that I connect to and that are influencing me, that are giving me downloads and everything else. It's like it all becomes this accumulation that we get to bring forward in our own unique way and take ownership of.
Yeah.
It's never anybody else's, it's always ours. It's always ours.
And that's the hardest part, right? It's like, okay, I need to agree to let this go. A lot of times people will, once you shift, a lot of times I've seen people where the energy's been shifted and it's here and it's been sitting here for 2, 3 years. And I'm like, the energy's there. You just have to agree to now take it and change
Mm.
that pattern, or repattern the thought process, or change that perception. And when you change that, then this will all just drop in. So I've seen that where people took years where they didn't want to receive something, but they've worked with amazing people, and then boom, it all falls in. They're like, "Oh, my whole life's changing." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks."
Yeah. What I really appreciate about you is that you're really focused in your work about people who want to move the needle, or really are ready for success. They're like grounding it in. There, it's just it's it's practical, if you will, and it's almost like I almost call it like CEO training for being human.
Yeah, and it's, I my first mentor and teacher, who's no longer with us, she'd say, "You're the most tenacious person I know," because you want to give up on this journey. We all want to give up at certain
Mm.
times, right? Okay, I'm coming back. I'm coming back, and I walk away. Okay, no, that's my own little pity party. I go back, and that is, and I get passionate about it, because we all deserve to have good lives,
Mhm.
but we also have to choose it.
Mm.
You have to choose it. And that's a hard one to swallow. And if anyone tells you they've never sat in the mirror and had the ugly cry of the stuff they have to let go of, they're not being honest with you, because we need to choose it and say, I am going to do this. And it's not always easy the first one or two times, because your pattern has a default. And when we start to remove the default, you might feel that person that's in judgment of you, but it's got to be like, no, like I am convicted that I need to do this for me. That's not being selfish. That's being loving and kind to change and rewrite who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, more of us is always better for everybody else. Truly,
Right. 100%. Yeah.
truly. And the last item on this, we haven't gone over this, y'all. It's there's a bonus video on Soul Sunday. So what's that?
Yeah. I do a lot of these soul Sundays, and it's my teaching, preaching, we're channeling, and everything just starts coming through. It was a
Mm,
class we did for 90 minutes. There's a lot of shifting, and it's a lot of connection. And as I love to go out and teach and lecture, but sometimes when spirit comes through, it's like people are like, wow, you get like a preacher up there. It's kind of funny. So, but it's fun, and it was a pretty magnificent, glorious shift. And so I thought, you know what? I really love this one because it was really powerful, the spirit message that came through. So we wanted to add it, and it's a 90-minute one. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm a little confused, y'all. Maybe as some of y'all are as you're looking through the special offer. Tracy, maybe you can confirm with us, but we have it listed at 147 and 127.
Oh,
Um,
it was 127 is
it's
what,
127, y'all.
yeah,
So
that's what we had. Yeah.
when
Agreed
you
to.
click on the buy now button, it'll be $127, y'all, with a two payment option.
Okay.
April or Chris, go into the checkout page and make sure that it's properly priced, so that y'all can take advantage of that. If you've already purchased at 147 by any chance, just write to us. We'll send you back the credit back of the additional funds. And this is Tracy is a coach. She is a guide. She's gonna teach you what is going to work. And if you apply it, you are going to oh my God,
Yeah.
see changes.
Yeah, you
Um,
will.
so
Yeah.
again, I
That's
hope
the
y'all take
key. You
advantage of
got
it.
to apply it. You can't just walk out, and people do that, and we're all guilty of it at times. But if you take it, use it. Like you got to apply it. This is a way of life. And yeah,
Yeah, you're not gonna get the shift through osmosis, y'all, just by hanging out.
no,
Um,
no, no. You can get a nice shift and for a little bit, but if you go out and you go back to a default program, we don't want you to go to a default program. I don't want to see anyone in my community go to a default program. I want to see you go out and rock it. Because if we can get you rocking it, you're rocking your communities, you're rocking your family, you're creating the
yeah.
change. So we need you. Yeah, we need you.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. All
Yeah.
right, y'all, let's go ahead and go on to our next segment. Let's get into Q&A. And with that, let's start with Tatiana. Welcome to the call.
Hello, everyone. Thank
Hello.
you for taking my question.
Of course.
So, I've written down something about me moving on Monday, like literally in few days, and I don't like the place they are moving me, but because I have son who is 17, I have to have two-bedroom accommodation, and so I don't feel happy about that, and I can't shake it off, even though I understand that it could be even better for me. So, what do I do to kind of, because I know that we create our reality by what we think, what we believe. So, I want to believe that it is good move for me and everything's gonna be fine. But deep inside, I don't feel it and I don't know how to shake it off. What do I do, please?
Mm,
Yeah, because it looks like it's actually it's not a when you go to a train station and
Mm,
you're kind of waiting for the next train. So we've got to strengthen the system. So what we'll do is we'll align you to the new place and the new place to you. But your body also doesn't like to move too much. It doesn't like that yet. You know that. Like it likes stability, it likes grounding. So this is feeling more just upheaval in your body. I might gag or burp here. So what we're going to do is we'll remove where moving and being uprooted, and it also looks like it's in your ancestral pattern. Moving and being uprooted means trauma. Like it means there's been displacement, means something bad is going on, something bad is happening. You can see it in your
mm,
family pattern and your history. So what we can do,
Okay.
so I'll give you, so this is a tool, I'll align it, but this is what you can do is when you're aligning something, so you're commanding to strengthen you, picture yourself to the new place to you, and then we collapse any of the interference energy. So see
Mm-hmm.
how I pulled my hands and I collapse the interference energy, right? You to
Mm-hmm.
the new place to you, and then we're going to collapse the interference energy. So we can put all of your energy. I will for you though, move out the energy of the people that were there before because you're picking up on some of that as well. We'll get rid of that, but we'll override. And what we'll do is we'll command and speak in the piece that this is, look at it. It's just like a train station, but there's going to be another place that will come forward. But what we want to do is remove that accumulation. So what we do is we bring up, I move my hand like this because we're bringing up all the accumulation of energy. We're moving meant something bad was going on. And that's a cell memory that's coming up from your family. And that's why you don't like change like that. Your home needs to be safe. Does that make sense as we're clearing that?
Yeah,
Okay. So
it is
let's,
ancestral. I know because of my grandma taken to Germany during the Second World War.
yeah.
And
Forced out of home. Yeah. You can see that there's, and there's a lot through the ancestral line. It's exactly, you can see that where it is not safe. So we need to, when we start to ground you, I'll say thank you, I will ground you into that space of new, and we'll increase safety. So we'll speak in and increase safety and connection. So when you think of that place now, how does that feel?
well, I have worries in my heart.
Worries?
I worry about it because
Yeah.
I've seen it and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So that's why I have, I don't have, if I liked it, it would be
Yeah.
easier for me to kind of move
So
and let it go.
is it possible that we
Yeah.
shift the perception that it's just strengthening for temporary?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And if we strengthen it, so we're increasing, we're doing the light switch, right? If we're strengthening
Hmm.
it for temporary,
Hmm.
truthfully, how does that feel now?
Well, it feels better, more positive.
So that's where we stay. Okay, so this is where we can get ourselves, we start to wire ourselves backwards. We're like, okay, so that's the truth of your body. Truthfully, this
Mm.
is when you say that and we increase the energy, now you're like, okay, I can be okay with that. But what you're going
Hmm.
to want to do is now you're going to want to go and spiral back into, well, I'm going to worry. No, now you're going to go, truthfully, this is temporary. So you're going to strengthen the energy. You're going to increase it. And that's what you're going to do. No, and then you can reset, let go. And you can tap your heart
Hmm.
and reset, let go.
Yeah.
It's just temporary. There's something really cool that's going to come out of here. And that's what you're going to say to yourself because you can see it. There's something really new that's going to come out of here. And it's just temporary. But then when you can see where you're going to be into another place, that's going to be
Hmm.
very grounding for you. There's some good
Okay.
things that'll come of it. You'll see.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll see.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Tatiana.
much.
You're
I
welcome.
Yeah.
think what's also happening, Tatiana, and thank you so much for bringing this up, is that
Mm.
y'all, we're being so indoctrinated into such a rapid wire culture where our attention is just it can only grok things for a certain time, or we believe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to hold the long-term benefit of an action now that 3 days from now something good's
Yeah.
going to happen, it's like, but no, I want it to happen like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a maturity that comes in it. There's an awareness. We get to be the adults that, telling the kids you're not having the cookie yet. You're going to have it later.
Yeah.
But man, that cookie's going to be so good when you do have it. You're
Yeah.
going to be able to enjoy it so much more because you're going to be more replenished and you're not going to be doing it from your nervous system response. You're really going to be in a place where you can truly enjoy it instead of trying to gobble it up because you're afraid it's going to be taken away from you. Um, so again,
Yeah.
we should really all pause at what's being offered here, why we have this show, the our service to humanity during this time. It isn't the short
Mm.
game. It's look what we're growing into and look what's possible. And if I show up today and plant the seed, look at what's taken root is going to blossom during my lifetime this year, this month, this week, because I set the intention and decided that it was worth it.
And look at what you can
Mm.
also offer the other people that are there just by bringing your space and
Mhm.
who you are and that energy. And there's a reason why you're there just for a short term. Yeah, it'll be good.
And the ancestral healing that comes through, Tatiana, with some of the things that you mentioned, it's like you pausing, taking the breath, the inhale, getting
Mhm.
back into you instead of your grandmother's story, getting into you
Yeah.
and being able to carry that forward and freeing the limitations that have been held through the generations. You're freeing them as well. Talk about an act of service and of love, and but it starts with loving the self first. It's not just for your granddad. You can't do it without loving yourself first. And that's the
Yes.
key that's happening right now. It all begins here, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, John, for taking my question. Thank you so much. Thank you for your help.
Awesome.
Thank you. I feel better already.
Oh,
All
good.
right,
You're going to
Tatiana.
do great.
Blessings
Thank
too.
you.
I appreciate that you brought it up. Let's continue now. Let's go to Laura. Welcome to the call.
Um, Hi, Tracy. It's so nice
Hi.
to meet you and have you here. I was wondering if you could tell me what ancestral things are in my way now that are, blocking me or holding me back from being able to move forward and grow.
Do you mean move forward now? Okay. So do you mean move forward and grow with your connection, your abilities, or just in life?
Both, really.
With your connection and your abilities. So the first thing that comes up in that field with where you are with your abilities, there's still this second you can see. It's almost like, when you're the kid that speaks out and you're double checking what you say and how you speak and how you're allowed to speak. Now, I'm not saying you necessarily do that all the time, but in your ancestral line, there's this thing about towing the line. Like everybody toes the line. Everybody has to do things a certain way. So you're very different in a sense that you would be what we call a laundry cleaner. This is what I call people. So people that come in very
Mhm.
different to change the line. So you can look at your family and say, I'm a little bit different. I see different. I feel different. I hear different. So taking those skills, there's so much you can clean in the ancestral line. But when we see that with somebody that would be like a laundry cleaner, what we want to do is start to envelop and respect the line, but it's like we're going to strengthen you to be really in the space of it's okay to outgrow the line. Now,
Mm.
sometimes people get confused when I say this because it's, when you've got authoritative figures, those are our parents, our grandparents, right? Our family above us. And it's like, well, respect your ancestors. Well, yes and no. They had their learning, but every once in a while, a soul comes in, which is you, which is what we're going to strengthen to say, I respect where you all came from. I'm glad that I've been here to learn. But now we can start to pull that paradigm down so we can override it where you can feel stronger and free to
Mm.
be with who you are, because there's parts of yourself, and I'm sure you see this, where it's almost like you look and scan who you're around of what you can say, not say, like where you can be fully you, maybe where you're going to hold back, where you, and this is where that energy is shifting in you right now, because there's it's like I always feel I feel like a welling up where you're just ready to say, I'm just going to be me everywhere. Like you're ready to just step in and be who you are, but we'll start to remove, and I mean, with everyone, like you're
Mm.
not going to start to second guess anymore, or it's not even second guessing. It's like they show it like just scanning. Like you must be really good at going into a room saying, okay, I can be and say this with this person or this with this person. You're really good at reading people that way. And that is where that ancestral pattern, which we can start to collapse off, it's that pattern that kept the family safe, so to speak. I don't really like that word that much, but they could function. They knew how to function within that dysfunction. And so now you're showing them a new way. And when we're the person that comes in to show a new way, it can also feel unsettling sometimes growing up, right? Especially when you're younger, because you're going, that doesn't feel good to me, or that doesn't make sense to me. And you can be asking your family or looking and saying, why do they do it that way? But you're not supposed to do it that way. So
Mm.
now you're coming into this strength, and thank you, God, we can command that strength to increase in you so you can be very confident, because you can see in this next, like, probably 8 to 12 months, you become a lot more solid. So when you're going out in places, you're like, here I am. And it's not a arrogance or rudeness. It's just like, this is me. And you're going to feel really calm with that. And that's going to actually catapult your skills, because it's going to be a knowing. It's like coming back and going. But during that period, it can feel a little unsettling. Like, who am I today? You might look in the mirror and go, wait a minute, I don't know if I recognize myself today. But it's a feeling, and it's a feeling of strength. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
If-
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you've been like I call them laundry cleaners. You're just, and it can be, well, because you come in and you're cleaning your family stuff and their ancestral stuff, and you're cleaning there, and eventually you're like, I am not cleaning anyone's laundry anymore. You clean
Mm.
your own. I'm gonna do mine. And this is really, but there was a part of you, and you're coming out the other side, and we can cut that energy off, where it felt like a wrongness to kind of deviate, as much as you knew you had to go on your path and move in this space and open your skills and open who you are. And you know how much it resonates with you, and your connection's quite strong. But there was almost a little bit of a wrongness if it deviated through a family pattern. So you've been working through that, it looks like, quite well. And you've been doing a lot of work around that by the looks
All
of
right,
it.
Laura, thanks for coming in and asking your question. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Tracy.
You're welcome.
so wonderful. All
Should
right.
feel better. Now you don't have to clean anybody's laundry.
No, just your own, just your own. Lauren, welcome to the call.
Hi, both. Thank you so much for having this event. I feel at the moment I've been using the prayers from Tracy's book and been asking for a sign, and with work and my body, and there's just a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
With like the work that I was kind of saw on the timeline for me to be at, when I asked for the sign, rang the work that I was currently in. And I just feel my body every time, and I even felt it just in this call, it's just screaming at me. And I'm kind of like, I don't know where I am in terms of like there's control issues showing up in my body, and just in the family and the environment, all that kind of stuff is just going on. So just see if there's anything you can help with.
Yeah, there's the biggest struggle that goes back and forth, and you could see it it's right in the heart, is there safety of completely letting go and trusting in what you cannot see? There's a pattern here, and it spins. It's going so fast, I'm almost getting dizzy. It's over here, and we can start to calm it down. We can start to command the system to pull down. That if you actually completely just say, okay, I'm gonna step out of myself. There's an exercise you can do where you push the energy and you step back, like as you push it this way and step back, and then move over like this and let the energy fall. What you're doing is you're commanding the energy to just kind of bypass you. And the more you start to do that, you can start to let it go. And so I would ask, one of the things that I would also shift there is, truthfully, what is my fear? So thank you, God. Truthfully, what's my fear of letting this go? It's like control's your best friend.
Mm.
It's your best friend. We got to break up with your best friend. If you're okay with that, we can start, but you have to really, we can all start to move the energy with you. But what you need to do is really go in and go, okay, truthfully, am I ready to let this go? Like, I mean, truthfully, like sit with it, because you guys have been like this for a very long time. And that's what kept you really safe. Does that make sense?
Completely. Yeah.
Yeah, Lauren, thank you so much. It's part of what you're sharing, Tracy, also. And I love about letting go of the best friend. And I had a little bit of a reframe just from my perspective on that, because I had a navigation that I was doing with my parents when I was really like breaking out of the box and the familial patterns and all that. I had to retrain my parents
Mhm.
about how to treat me, what was expected. the version of John that they probably still saw as 8 years old or whatever, as an adult. Um, and be very clear about it and consistent with those new standards that I wanted to have a relationship with them with. But I was willing to not communicate, to not talk, to show up and leave if something was out of alignment. And it's part of the re-entrainment that
Yeah.
we're doing. And so we can do it with people in our lives and they can choose to participate or not.
Yeah.
With parents,
Yeah.
they'll typically choose to participate in one way or another. But with our best friend, our inner self, that part of us, it's a retrainment that happens. We don't have to grieve losing it, but we are grieving the way the relationship was held in codependency because it was so comforting.
Yeah, and when we're breaking up with that, you're exactly right. And saying, and having like sometimes it's easy or to say like this is hard for me to say. I'm coming from a place of love, but I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be one of the hardest things I've had to say
Mhm.
because you're like, we can talk about this, but we're not gonna be talking about these things. I
Yeah,
need you to respect that. Okay. And if they don't, and if they do, then you gotta be like, all right, gotta go now.
right.
Bye.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You've got to be you've got to mean what you say and say what you mean.
yeah, 100%.
And that's what really brings it forward. And this also brings us up to what we were talking at the beginning of the call, Tracy, about learning to stop waiting for clarity. I think this is part of
Yeah.
the issue also. Can you speak a little bit more into that?
It's actually really important. People, it's the same energy as, when someone says, well, my intuition said I shouldn't go to that thing. And I'm like, are you sure that was your intuition or was it your fear? Like, maybe just go and see what happens. Like, it might be the best thing that happened.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. A lot of times people will waste years and years saying, well, I haven't had clarity. I say, just jump. Just be brave to jump. You can always reverse back if something has to be reversed back. And when people jump like that, it's amazing what happens. And so it's part of doing this work. It's that old saying, feel the fear and do it anyways, because you have the skills, you have the tools, you have the knowledge. And the more you have that behind you, you just need to go for it. And it sounds easy, but I can tell you the more you do it, the less fearful you'll become.
Well, and there's more tools. That's why we have the
Yeah.
special offer.
Yeah.
Tracy's bringing you what she has tried and tested and has used with herself and with her clients over
Yeah.
and over again. So it's amazing. $127, y'all. Again, the price is 127, not 147. Two payment option. And again, these tools are really impressive.
Well, and I want to say this is a lot of times people look at where we are now, you or me, and they're like, oh, well, what? You know what? I know what it was like to have my last $1,000 in the bank. I know what it was like to be a single mom my whole life. I know what it was like to have no support and no help. I know what it was like to be, sick and dealing with all these things on my own. And like, I've been there and I've been where you are. And that is why I made the tools because I had to learn them and do them myself. And then I started channeling them through. And I know what it's like. So it's not, yeah, sure. But now I go, okay, I'm a testimonial because they worked and I do have a beautiful life. But it doesn't mean I don't do the tools every day. And it doesn't mean I don't show up every day with the things that I'm teaching and you're teaching. We do this every day, which allows us to keep generating our lives. So remember that it is a space where, we've all been there. We've
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. All
Thank
right, let's
you.
continue. Blessings to you as well, by the way. It's just um Vida, let's go to you. Welcome to the call.
Hi, John. Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Love.
So, I have a question. So I know the importance of being grounding, like to practice grounding. So I do like meditation. I have like crystals with me. Imagine a lot of like being a tree, with a lot of roots. But sometimes I still feel that I'm not grounding enough. So my question is more like, is there uh, not better because I don't think there's better, but a more efficient way for me to ground myself.
So usually in my experience with people and myself included, usually after you've been doing a grounding practice for, you know, usually about 30 days, your body is naturally, even when you're walking and you're like, oh, I need to ground, your body will naturally ground. It looks more that what you're feeling. And we can all come disconnected, guys. So that's normal. But it's your grounding. So the center point here that wants to ground with your connection to your higher self. That's where you're feeling the disconnection. So that is what we actually want to increase. So if you focus on around the solar plex of when you're bringing in that higher self to really do a really nice, almost a figure eight around your solar plex, and when you're
Okay.
grounding into the feet, if you are feeling that you're walking or you're going somewhere and you feel like you're kind of ungrounded, you're not feeling as stable, you can command the body to ground not only your feet and your roots, you're doing great, but command your hips, legs, right? Your feet to just command them to roll in a little bit and sink into the earth. And then
Mm.
it's kind of like, and the other thing I say to people that kind of feel like moon boots, like heavy boots on your feet, right? You can put that. But the biggest one that looks like when you come up is you're trying to find the point from your connection to spirit with the grounding into Mother Earth. You really like Mother Earth a lot, don't you? You can
Yeah,
see
I go out. I go out outside with my cat every day.
it.
So I kind of.
But don't forget, you need both. It's
Okay.
really important to have both. So Mother
Mhm.
Earth is beautiful, but we do require both. So if you can focus on connection that way, then
Okay.
your higher self and then Gaia will also, and you'll be talking, and then it's like a fluid. It's going to be going up and down like this. And we can
Mhm.
strengthen the body where there's a nice, and if you can visualize that, there's a nice energy flow that's going up and down. You'll probably notice very quickly because you're doing really, really well what you do, that it'll just feel a lot more consistent. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Vida, I want to ask you, I think this is so relevant, and Tracy, I'd love your input on this, but
Mhm.
why do you feel like you need to ground more?
I feel like a lot of like vibration in my body that sometimes I'm like, okay, like I don't know if it's I don't I just have the feeling of like, okay, I feel ungrounded, or I just feel it in me, like I'm more unstable.
I love that you're bringing this up because Tracy, I want your input on this because
Yeah.
there's a lot of energy moving through right now. I'm feeling my body pulsing and it's like, what is happening right now? And it's like
Yeah.
grounding can help and going to the ocean can help. But sometimes just being with it without needing to control it is also
Yes.
what's being called. So to be aware of different ways, if you're already good at grounding, do you really need to ground them more or something else is happening? And Tracy,
Yeah.
I'd love for you to elaborate a little bit more about
And
that.
that's why I say with the connection with the higher self is allowing the flow, because then we're just allowing that energy to move. Quite often, what I've noticed, for a long time is as your cell memories are changing, as your body's letting go, you're going to have these different vibrational frequencies. And if something feels different, we as humans think it's wrong.
Mm.
But it's not wrong. How about if we start to change that perception? So you're like, okay, thank you, Spirit. I'm going to reverse this perception. Oh, this is a really cool feeling. I'm vibrating right now, and I might just vibrate out of my chair. Like we got to start to look at it as more of a play energy. And that's why I was saying when you're connecting the two, you'll feel more at peace with it. And that's the biggest thing. If it's something we don't know or we haven't experienced, right away we go, oh, it's wrong. Well, what if it was right? What if
Mm.
it's right? Because chances are it is right now, because I always say dumping cash, but it's literally looking like our bodies are getting scrubbed from the inside out. And that will make your organs vibrate. You got to remember, people forget that I always say with the body regeneration, that's what I focus on, your body, because your organs are your life. They're talking to each other all the time. They have a story, they have a message, they're telling you what's going on. So, that's your biggest conduit. And as they're scrubbing and changing, then your hard drive changes. So you're going from iPhone 6 to iPhone 20 right now. Like we're just
Yeah.
zooming through and we're upgrading, and that can make things flutter, that can make organs flutter. So you're doing very well. Just get that fluid and remember, it's like, yeah, this is really cool. Like,
You're in for the ride.
yeah,
You're awesome,
Thank you
Vida. Thank
so
you for
much.
coming on.
you're
Yeah.
welcome.
All right, let's continue more Q&A. But actually, there's a comment from Michael. My life has changed so much from using Tracy's tools. I
Oh,
can't recommend I had such a hard time breaking away from the paradigm my parents knew, but now I am on a path that fills my soul every day. I cannot recommend Tracy's tools
Mm,
enough.
me too.
So beautiful testimonial, Michael. And it's why we have Tracy
Yeah.
on the show. It's like, here you go. Use
And I'm
these.
talking some deep-rooted family paradigms. Like we've seen people in very deep-rooted communities that,
Mm,
and they're flying now. Like, thank you, Michael. But yeah, they're flying. Like they're just,
amazing.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Ah, so beautiful, Michael. Thank you for sharing. And let's go now to Beverly. Beverly, welcome to the call. And Beverly, can we ask you to unmute your microphone, please?
Yeah.
There is, can you hear me now?
You can, yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here.
Mhm.
I have something going on inside of me. Well, not an energy tear or a hole, but like an opening on my left side. And it's something with my organs, my bladder, my spleen, my intestines, something like this. And, you know, I'm just a firm believer in, the things that really need to be addressed or your issues are the things that are arising present, those the things to work on. And so uh, it was actually a shaman person that brought this up, but it's also to do with something had a hold on me in three places from going way back. It is a soul connection, and I'm on a very small island here, 7 miles long by 2 wide. It's a community. And I began to notice that whenever which I do my daily things, my daily work, and it's really all more about healing, that I'm going to call it interference frequency, but their presence, they actually arrive. So I started noticing, and I didn't know if it is actually connected to that or something else, but the part about my insides is alarming to me.
So you're, yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. I'm like, where do we start? I'm like, okay. So yeah, the interference energy is definitely real. There's a magnetic energy that's coming both off-world and on water, and where you are isolated. It's not only around on the island, but it's underneath. You probably noticed that for quite a while. The organs, do you notice that you get the pain and the vibration at the same time in the organs?
Not necessarily, but primarily more with the bladder. I've begun to witness it and feel it. In fact, I had been on an antibiotic, and I'm not sure that I feel or can sense the improvement. It's something like it's more out of bounds and out of control like that. And I want to mention one of the things that they had pulled off was with an injury to my left hand that had occurred. And I did feel it go away. This is true.
Yeah.
But with the person who is a soul connection, an old one too, it's back. So that's present as well. I really don't know where to begin in balance. I saw that you were offering a mentorship thing by application. I've even looked at that. But the one thing that kind of alarms me too is I'm not one to actually, reach out for a lot of different helps, or connections with that sort of thing. And that's been disturbing to me because it's like it's not working.
Let's see what Tracy's bringing in for you now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy too around the heart space. I'm actually would like to actually command the heart drive, so your heart to start to move over a little bit. The soul connection, your visualization would be you, and then put that connection at the end of like a boardroom table, like see them over there. We're going to create some disconnect again, similar to what we were saying before. There's a resonance that if it's gone, there's a void, a space that you try to find it again. You will go into, I call it overthinking mode. There's a fear, and I can see it in the heart. And with the bladder gets very, I want to say, pissy. It feels like those little burrs that are inside, when they stick to your pants. They stick to the pants. So they're like spikes. We can start to pull and release those out. But this is also something you said, and your whole body triggered when you said it. And I actually feel like I want to, Brigade, we'll move this out for you, is the reason the whole reproductive area and that lower part is having a lot of issues that we can start to move is when we do not fully receive. So ask for help, accept the help, take the help. We cut off so much of who we are. And not only just, a lot of people think it's just their money. No, this is who you are and your essence. And there's also, you can feel it in the heart. There's a sadness that comes with this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go, okay, I've been doing this and this, and I want to say it's like, I keep seeing this image of, I may as well just keep beating myself up. Like I keep taking those, what do they call them? Those things that you lash your back with, it's like
the flogger. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I want to do that. And so there's this space. It's like, you feel like you don't deserve to receive. You feel like you don't deserve to have a calm body, a calm place. Like and then there's this grounding, and underneath the island you live, it looks like volcano kind of activity under there. Like I'm burning up. Like I feel like I'm on fire. Like, yeah, it's hot here, but not that hot.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? We can start to shift some of that for you, because it's like you feel like you don't even deserve, and I don't really, that word is so used and it's overused, but
It almost feels, today in my quietness, I get this, it's the first time it's really kind of come to me, and I wasn't even aware of it, but like a betrayal.
Yeah.
There's different energies that come across of it. Let's let Tracy take us through the process and
Perfect.
go deeper into it. So the clearing will be wonderful. And Tracy, one thing that I want to bring back to the beginning of the call also,
Yeah.
there's also, from a very shamanic standpoint, it's a vibrational tone that you have to keep insisting to bring into your field on a consistent basis. No,
yes,
no
100%.
matter what. Hold on a second. And so, Tracy, at the beginning of the call, you referred how you begin your mornings, what you call in, what you command into your field. And I know that you're doing that. And I can feel that you're doing that. But
respect
I
that.
just want to implore to you how important it is that you're consistent with it, that you not only say it, but that you believe it and that you hold that in. That is a war against something. Not that you're
3 times a day.
not that you're fighting against something, but that you're doing it because you're in co-resonance with what you're claiming and love.
Yeah.
Several
And
times a day.
I would, if I were you, change your saying to what, I don't know if you like to say God, universe, divine, whatever you want. But thank you, God, I'm strong, stable, steady, neutral, balanced. And I would repeat that every day, and I would see the energy come through the central nervous system as you're moving your feet, and tilt your pelvic just a bit, so your tailbone is more in alignment. So when you're sitting, or lay down. So when you're sitting, sit very straight and tilt your pelvic under, or lay down. But I would repeat that every day. And I would start there with you as we start to command the heart drive, like I said, it's moving over just a little bit. So it can we can command, and everybody will get it, but to increase the rewiring and the programming from the heart to the brain. So the brain is still, a lot of the work, but the brain is still overriding the heart. So take the heart drive. And one of the little tools you can do is, as you command the heart drive, to override the brain. So you tap into the heart drive and activate it and override the brain, and then pull the energy down. So as you pull your nerve system in, pull the energy down. So you pull the system in, pull the energy down. That will allow it to be clear. But we want to also remove and speak in the energy of the bladder, and remove the accumulation of energy that literally gets you frustrated or pissy. But there's a bacteria, and that's that bacteria that you related to, that it keeps circling back, and it's circling under frustration and hidden anger that's down there that we can
Mm.
start to pull up, that looks very rooted, and it's more internal, like I said, with life. Like, where is my life? Why am I here? Like, really, like, what's going on? So it's becoming peace. But as we strengthen and lift that bladder up, it should be calm. But if you can do those few tools, they'll actually, you'll start to see it should shift quite quicker, a lot quicker.
Beautiful.
See
Blessings
the
to Beverly.
person. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. I just want to say, see the soul contract. That one's gone. Like, a lot of that is gone. It comes up when you feel like something's missing. So put them at the end of the boardroom table and off they go.
Beautiful.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
Beverly, blessings to you. You look at your
Thank you.
journey. You've got this.
Thank you. So, yes. Yes, sir, I
You
do.
so do.
You do. Yeah, you do. Yeah,
I
you do.
do. Yes.
I think it was all just so empowering, Tracy. But for Beverly, and for so many of us, when we're really creating another shift,
Yeah.
there's a motivation, but the neutrality that you brought into the commandment is really important in these type of cases. Because
Yeah.
if there's a significant charge, if there's an expectation, if there's a push-pull in that way, it's like a Chinese lock, it's like it's not going to let go of its grip.
No, exactly. And that's what's so important. And then we say, what is this assignment that this person has?
Mm.
And do I need to agree with it anymore? You can take those assignments and agreements, and you can, bind them up and send them back. You're in charge. Yeah.
Oh, Tracy, we're running a little bit over, but can I take another caller?
Sure.
I want to take all of y'all, and I wish we had more time. But Alana, you were calling very strongly, energetically, so I wanted to make sure that we called on you. Fallon, thank you for being here.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Tracy. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
Well, I definitely was called. Don't usually even ask a question, but just as this was starting, I had an asthma attack.
Oh,
Wow.
Just as you guys were at 3 o'clock, so I was getting on a little late. So I thought, okay, this is important. I wasn't even going to listen. I was going to listen to the replay. But I
Mm.
stopped what I was doing. I thought, okay, I'm having an asthma attack and this thing's starting. So my question is, and that may be a health thing that I need to unplug from. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, where we have a major affordable housing crisis, especially for seniors like myself. So a year ago, I moved into a brand new, beautiful seniors apartment that I love. And I was on wait lists all over the place for 2 years just to get into this one.
yeah.
But all of a sudden, I'm getting calls, and I got one today from other places offering me to go to them. And my lease expires at the end of the month here. And I have besides the fact, wonderful boyfriend who lives on the same floor as me, someone I knew before he moved in. So there's that. But I'm wondering, these are places, well, one of them that today I felt really sad after I got off the phone because I told the lady no, because it's smaller and actually the rent here is less for me in the program I'm in.
Yeah.
But it's also out of Charlotte. It's a couple hours drive out of Charlotte, but it's a beautiful, beautiful spot. But the place isn't as nice. I'm really in a beautiful spot.
Well, Alana, what's your question?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get clear on. Is there something I'm missing from the universe that all of a sudden now, after I'm all settled in this place for a year, I'm getting other opportunities offered to me? And am I missing something about this isn't where I'm supposed to stay? Because I'm very happy here and I love it.
Yeah, I think
happy.
Tracy can answer that. Yeah.
It's choice. Sometimes when we're just presented with choices, you put out there that you were looking, and you went out there and you can see that there's these choices. And so you're being verified and solidified that this is where you want to be. So don't second guess it. You are in the right place. But I will tell you, the asthma attacks are your body's actually releasing anywhere in this lifetime or others where you felt smothered and unsure of self, or somebody smothered you or you smothered yourself. And that's why that happened, because you're actually getting ready to move it. And asthma is actually more on the rise now. It has to do with a lot of different environmental factors that have happened. And it can be very deep, but we can start to clear some of the lungs because you're starting to actually let go of where you have been smothered and smothering yourself versus getting very clear and going, this is what I want. And you're not going to waver me or take me off my path.
That's beautiful.
Interesting, because I haven't had an attack for a long time. In fact, when I went to go use my inhaler, it didn't work. It's got
That's
nothing
nice.
in it, so I had to go find an old one because
Yeah.
I haven't been using it. So I knew it was significant. And if
Yeah.
there's anything we can disconnect from to do with it,
Yep.
great.
100%. Yeah, we can start cleaning out that lung space and speak in that clarity. So the pattern, we start to remove that accumulation of the pattern and let that go. So it should actually lighten up. And also remember, as you do the work, guys, one thing I do so notice is any medicines, lasers, whatever you guys do that normal people do will affect you a lot differently. So please be mindful that you probably need a lot less than anybody else, your height, weight, size. So just be aware of it. Yeah.
Wonderful. So Lana, we can go into the special offer also and get into that. Are we going to do a process here on the call, Tracy? Is that what's being called?
We can, if everybody would like to. We can start to organize the organs a little bit and help everybody get into alignment for the new of what's unfolding. So why not? All right. So what I would do, I always say first, just tap the heart. We're going to have everybody just tap your heart. And we're just going to start to command that accumulation of energy to come through the top of your head. We're just going to swirl it all the way down to the soles of your feet. We're just going to let the energy run for a minute, just get everybody into that vibration. And what we're going to actually do is command the heart drive just to move over just slightly. And we're going to start to rewire. So take the right side, feel the right side of the brain, reconnect to the left side of the body. The left side of the brain, reconnect to the right side of the body. And then I want you to actually go right to the center of your brain. So right to your soft spot, where your baby soft spot would be. And we're just going to run that energy all the way down through the central nervous system. And we're just going to realign the central nervous system. So we command the nerve system just to repattern, repair, and restore, and create a space to elevate and increase the energetic frequency in your body. So we're going to open up the central nervous system a little bit stronger. And we're going to open a door. If you picture a little hole opening up around the reptilian brain, which is right at the back, lower part of the brain at the back. And we're going to release a little bit more of the energy that has been programmed and the patterns around the fight or flight mode. The reason we're going to pull this down, just feel that energy start to release and let go. And we're going to override and we're going to speak in the higher of the God frequency, which that ever resonates with you, however you say that, just hold that. And we're going to increase the chemical electrical frequency pattern of the brain. We're going to reconnect how the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain connect and talk. So the heart drive can override and take on a higher frequency pattern, allowing your intuition to strengthen physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, and psychically, and all the various combinations. So just bring your attention right now, again, from your C1, which is your central nervous system at the top, the little bump on the back of your top neck there, all the way down to the tailbone. And we're going to command the tailbone to just go underneath, just curve a little bit, as we're now going to take your hips. We're going to command the hips to turn under just a bit. And we're going to ground the legs all the way down. We're going to pull this energy through the legs, out the bottom of the legs. So what we're doing, we're stabilizing the body to be very strong, to rewire, repair, restore, and regenerate, which we can command to connect in a new way without fear. So we can move that over. So what we'll do is we'll speak in. We're going to speak in right now into the heart drive. There we are. The divine frequency of letting go. And we're going to just shift the blueprint that you have. So you can see spirits bringing in a different blueprint. So if you can feel almost like a sheet just falling off of you, and there'll be another, like a sheet just comes, it comes right inside your body, but it's your new blueprint. It's a new blueprint that rewires the body, the soul, the spirit, connecting you into a higher elevation of the God frequency. Okay, so you can feel that going through the central nervous system. You have to understand the central nervous system is where everything connects. Talks to all your organs. Just allow that energy to flow from the vertebra to the organs and back up into the hard drive. So just tap that hard drive one more time, and then just command it to release and let go any interference energy, anything that is no longer needed in your world right now. And I'm just going to remove anything that's left for each and every one of you. Thank you, God. And then just keep tapping. Yeah.
Oh my God, amazing, Tracy. Thank you so much. Y'all, go deeper with Tracy. The special offer is right there for you. I hope you take advantage of that. And of course, we'll run the replay all weekend long, the rest of the week. So that'll be available so you can come back and tap into the tapping, the processes, what's been shared here, which is amazing. And Tracy, thank you so much. It's been such a great call. So much wisdom and so much shared on this. It's just, what a gift. I so appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And to everybody, remember how important you all are. So keep showing up every day.
Keep showing up, y'all. About you
All
guys.
right.
Namaste. Look forward to seeing y'all on the next call. Bye, everybody.